Hey all, Hipper here. So today we're taking out the Perfect 10, and this is a ship I don't play very often, but it's actually quite good with an agile build here because it's really fast. So I'll show you here my build. It's all about turrets, speed and rudder, right? Nothing else. And that's how I like my ships. So why change it with this one? 4 heals, 3 speed boost and 3 rolling smokes. So 1.8 rudder and 41 knots before speed boost. With speed boost we can get this thing almost 50 knots. So as I'm sure you're all aware, we are getting training rooms in a few hours. Actually, I'm shooting this video about an hour before the server shutdown. And then once the servers start up again, we'll have training rooms. So this will, if all goes well and training rooms are actually as good as we think they are, this will be my last standard battle, hopefully. So that's why I took out Perfect 10, because I had 20 minutes and I'm like, okay, I'll take a battle and I'll take a ship I haven't really played before. So that's why I took Perfect 10 here. Now it's really fast. I don't know if you've noticed before, but I was doing almost 50 knots here into the cap, and then using the rolling smokes to get into good position, so I can, citadel this Tulsa here, because, yep, that's what we like to do. Now, I'm not saying I won't play the occasional standard battle going forward, but if training rooms are what I think they are and what they look like they're going to be, every time I play from now on, I'm just going to set up a training room and then people can join if they want to play with me. That's about it, because I have been dealing with standard battles like this one, which I will show you at the end, for 4 years now, and it's infuriating. And this is a really good game with the Warships Legends, but the game modes are just trash, and they always have been, especially standard. There's just no way of setting up the battle to your liking or having any sort of influence on how many potatoes you have in your game. And potatoes are just a massive problem in Legends, like a huge problem. And it's the one thing that keeps me from playing this game more than I actually would. It's just the absolute horrendous average skill level of the people who play this game. And if that's you, well, too bad. So I'm by no means saying I'm the best player in the game. I'm not even in the top. I know that. I have never said I am. But what I do want out of this is the ability to play this game, enjoy this game, and don't have to deal with people who have absolutely no clue what they're doing up at the higher tiers. It's the most infuriating thing, really. And people like that, they are ruining the game for other people. You should go play AI if you still don't understand the game when you are playing tier 7s and tier 8s and legendary especially. So thankfully, it's been 4 years of masochistic performance here at the standard battles, and I am so happy that it's finally over, or at least I hope it's finally over, because I can now start to enjoy this game, the way that it's supposed to be enjoyed and played. Where you can, set up a training room with 3 or 4 people that they play well. And then people can just join, and I don't really care if you are terrible on the opposite team, that's fine. As long as you're not on my team, then I don't really care. I do wonder what's going to happen to standard battles though, because I can foresee that more of the more serious players, none of them are going to stick around for standard battles. I cannot see that happening. And if they do, I don't understand it, because I'm sure as heckfire not going to stick around, because I haven't hated this play mode, but it's been really bad for 4 years, and I'm so glad it's over. So this battle here is a good example of what I'm talking about, because no one really does well except myself in this one. And it also highlights another problem in the game that's really a huge problem that you can't really do anything about in standard battles. And it is that if the other team has a good carrier player, right, or a good destroyer player, it's really hard to make up for that if you're on a team with a potato carrier player, for example, like in this battle here. You can, of course, mitigate that, but there's a lot of luck involved, and thankfully we don't have to worry about that anymore. And you can even make battles, if you don't want carriers at all. I mean, I don't mind carriers, but if you don't want them at all, you don't want destroyers or whatever you don't want, you can just, kick that out of your lobby, and off you go. But how is standard battles going to look like when all the good players in the game are running for the hills and getting into their training rooms and staying there, which is what I can see happening. I for one will never set foot in standard battles again if training rooms actually are as good as they are made out to be. So I don't know what's gonna happen. Is it just gonna be like a total mess of potatoes from now on, or whatever? I don't know. But also, I don't really care. At least now I can escape the chaos and the madness, and the broadside battleships and the destroyers with no camo and all that stuff. And all that stuff is fine down at low and middle tiers. I have no problem with it at all. Even up to tier 6. I don't really complain about bad players. But if you get into tier 7, tier 8 and legendary tier, and you play like a potato, you will attract my ire. And another thing I'm really looking forward to is the fact that you can set up battles that are smaller than the 9 versus 9 battles. Because let's be honest here, what does everyone do in the first 5 minutes of a 9 versus 9 battle? They hide. They sit somewhere and they pick off enemy ships until there's that's like 5 or 6 enemy ships left, maybe even less than that. That's when people start to reposition and actually play the game. That's nothing happens until then. So my philosophy here is, why don't we just skip those boring 5 minutes, those horribly boring 5 minutes where everyone is AT spamming and sniping battleships and all that stuff, and just go straight to the fun part. So that's why my training rooms are going to be a maximum of 5 players, I imagine. And I'll probably play mostly 3 or 4, 3 versus 3, 4 versus 4, and also 1 versus 1. That'll be that's what I like. That's what I really, really enjoy in this game here. So my training rooms are going to be all about that. So of course I'm gonna do 9 versus 9 and all that silly stuff with 9 Yamatos versus 9 Yamatos and see what happens. But I enjoy smaller battles and obviously agile cruisers. So if you like agile cruisers, you are more than welcome in my training room. If you like Des Moines, you are not welcome. Very simple. So as you can tell, this is a very good example, this battle here, because in a minute we will have sunk 4 ships, and I've sunk 3 of them. And there's 6.5 minutes left, right? And you can see the red carrier is doing an excellent job. There he goes. Our carrier, on the other hand, he's been sitting behind the same rock the whole battle and doing absolutely nothing. Just being useless. And that's really hard to overcome. So as you can see, I've also used my last rolling smoke now, and the rolling smokes, well, they're the whole thing about Perfect 10, at least with this build here. When you run out, yeah, you're gonna have a tough time going forward, because this is a really squishy ship. It gets citadeled very easily, so you need that rolling smoke unless you're taking on destroyers. So that's the only thing I can take on left in this battle here is the destroyer and the carrier. The cruiser if I have to, but I would rather not. And of course, everyone's been wiped out at both A and B. And the only cap that anyone's managed to take is the one I took in the beginning. And this is just how 99 out of 100 battles is in standard battle. And frankly, it's just unacceptable. So, yep, training rooms, bring them on. I cannot wait. So I do miss a radar on Perfect 10 here. I wish I could switch, the speed boost for a radar and then have, the Belfast combination of smoke and radar. But yeah, can't do that. And I'm not really sure that it would make this ship overpowered because it is really squishy. So if you don't have, a smoke then yeah, it's gonna be rough. So we can take on this this destroyer here, because I mean, there's not really anything he can do. But anything more than that, unless you have cover, then it's a little bit tricky. So if you don't know what Perfect 10 is, it's a ship that was available, I think about 6 months ago now, as a part of some sort of speed thing that, you know, of course makes total sense in World of Warships Legends. But anyway, that's what it was. So I'm just gonna dodge the torps here best we can. You know, I don't think it's coming back ever, and don't cry yourself to sleep, because it's decent, it's different, right? It's a different Edinburgh, sort of. More guns, way squishier, and you know, also better damage output, but no radar, but you do get rolling smoke, and the ability to go almost 50 knots. So at this point here, I just don't care anymore. There's 3 minutes left or something along those lines, and sure, I could sit here, cap, and I don't know, would probably win, but I would probably just get torped by the carrier, because, you know, he knows what he's doing. So I'm thinking, oh well, let's just try and see if we can get a Kraken instead, and then we'll move on to the next battle, because honestly, I don't owe this team anything. So I'm not gonna cry myself to sleep over this result here. Just gonna, you know, be happy and content with the fact that I don't have to put up with this absolute mayhem anymore, hopefully. I will most likely also be streaming a lot more now these days, where, you know, the battles can actually be you know, set up in a way so you can play with people you want to play with, and it's not so frustrating as standard battles have always been. So that's the end of my hopefully last standard battle here, and as you can tell, the red team had 3 really good players, the blue team had 1 good player, and they were also blessed with a Yudachi with less than 350 XP, and an AFK Iowa, and a Petro with less than 800 XP. Excellent. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in trade rooms.